You need to understand that women don't hate men. They just have a full Google calendar, a clean apartment, thriving plants, and zero emotional bandwidth for your what are we energy.
Grab some tissue.
Let me go to Rocky. Rocky, what's your ideal type in a woman?
Subjugated. Mute. Knows her role. Non-engaging, non-challenging, and can still earn a few bucks.
Clap if you've ever wanted to kill somebody.
Grape is bad for certain people.
No.
For certain people.
No, it's bad for everyone.
No, it's only bad for certain people.
No. This is absolutely not.
Men are never beating the allegations. No matter what, y'all will continue to act like white people. Oh my God.
Somewhere around the Agrarian Revolution, we started having the idea that women were also not people.
People say, like, oh, you can't live your life in fear, but unfortunately, as women, we do.
Why are you running? Why are you?
I don't know if you guys know this. There's like a male loneliness epidemic.
There is no male loneliness epidemic. It is a loser epidemic.
The boy who is not embraced by the village will burn it down to feel its warmth. Someone left that African proverb in the comments under my video on red pill culture, and I haven't been able to forget it since. Because lately, it doesn't just feel metaphorical. It feels like the village is actually on fire. From incel forums to red pill streamers, from online harassment to mass shootings, from femicide to the allegations against DDG, Diddy, and a long line of powerful men exposed as abusers, what we're witnessing is a cultural shift. And just look at the news. An entire generation of men is rallying around abusers. Misogyny no longer hides in the shadows. It's being live streamed, monetized.
Rocky, what's your ideal type in a woman?
Subjugated. Mute. Knows her role.
Stitched, shared, and rewarded with algorithms.
This is why I don't support the red pill guys, because that guy sounds better. Like, why would you want a woman who's mute? You know, like, who doesn't engage? Like, why would you want like a woman like that? Like, why would you want a robot, bro? Like, come on. That's why I don't like red pill, and I don't support them. I'm not saying it's all bad. You know, to a certain degree, you know, it gave people information and insights about relationships, and it gave, you know, people the space to discuss the insights of relationships and, you know, what men want and what women want. But anyway, in this video, we're going to be reacting to modern love is failing women and men can't handle it, right? And the name of the channel is Afrodisia. I don't know how to pronounce it though. But yes, that's what we're reacting to today. Let's check it out.
Algorithms and applause.
When you set up a new TikTok account in the name of a teenage boy, it takes just 30 minutes before the first piece of extreme misogynistic content will be promoted to that account.
And I think this reveals something bigger brewing beneath the surface. We're watching unprocessed male pain turn into destruction. We're seeing the boy, wounded, ignored, enraged, burn the village down in real time. And while the world scrambles to dissect the rage of rejected boys, to diagnose the so-called male loneliness epidemic, it rarely listens to the fear of women, the ones watching the flames from inside the house. Because while the question everywhere seems to be what's happening to men, there's a quieter shift unfolding in response. Women are leaving. They're walking away from men. So we should also be asking, what's going on with women? Why are so many of us looking at men and running for the hills, saying no way, no how, and no men, and choosing what society has long framed as failure, a life without relationships with men? The short answer, we're tired. Bone deep, generationally, existentially tired. Dealing with men is exhausting. Not because of fear, though there's that too, the kind we call the man or the bear, the gut level calculation of what a man might do to us physically. But even more than that, it's the cost of staying close to them emotionally. The caretaking, the vigilance, the invisible labor, the slow erosion of selfhood that so often comes with loving a man. No, women haven't caught some sort of feminist man-hating brain virus. Women are choosing solitude, not because we have no options, but because for the first time in history, we actually do. do. We don't need men in the same way that we did when we couldn't own property or open bank accounts or survive without legal guardians. Virginia, we finally got a room of our own. And now that we've built our own rooms and filled them with safety and purpose and community, the entry fee is essentially higher. Because as male disconnection turns into hostility, many are no longer willing to trade peace for proximity. Because if a man isn't bringing you peace and his presence and reciprocity, he's disrupting something that women have fought really hard to build. And a lot of women aren't really prepared to make that sacrifice. What we're seeing here is much, much more than just a dating trend. It's a tectonic change, a cultural shift exposing just how differently men and women are now experiencing love, intimacy, and identity itself. Men and women are now living in two very different emotional economies. Men are aching for intimacy, but often lack the emotional literacy, support systems, or relational tools to build or sustain it. Women, on the other hand, have realized something much harder to unlearn. The traditional relationships, the one society told us were the goal, simply don't serve us anymore. Especially now that we have more freedom, financially, sexually, politically, emotionally. We're no longer willing to be chained to a system that was never designed with our autonomy in mind. Essentially, we're waking up to the very real cost of traditional relationships for women and the emotional starvation men have inherited from patriarchy. That's the truth at the heart of this. So if you're asking why women are opting out of relationships with men, the simplest answer I can give you is this. Women are done sacrificing themselves for the illusion of intimacy. We're not rejecting love, we're rejecting harm dressed up as love. And until men understand that, they'll keep misnaming boundaries as misandry. So today we're unpacking why so many men feel abandoned and why so many women are done abandoning themselves to stay. We keep hearing about the male loneliness epidemic. From some of the videos I've seen, it's
Okay, let's talk about this, guys. Let's talk about this. Men don't choose to be single, right? That is not a choice. Men can't meet women's standards because women have high standards. So that's the reason why we have this man loneliness epidemic, right? But, you know, it's not a big problem. It's not a real issue. It's just not a real issue, right? Because we've been lonely before you guys even thought about the loneliness epidemic. Like, we've been lonely for years, guys. Like, men start being lonely when they're like teenagers, when they're like 15 or something. As long as they don't know how to talk to girls, they don't know how to get girls, they're not players, they're not bad boys, they're not F boys, they know what loneliness is, right? So men don't choose loneliness, right? It's how the society is set up. This society is set up for men to be alone and be lonely, right? Because women have high standards. Just like she said, you know, women, it's not like back in the days in the 50s where women were like, you know, they used to serve men, you know, and do everything for a man and the man will provide. You know, now they can, you know, get property, now they can get loans, now they can vote and all that stuff, right? Things have changed. But now, remember, also in dating, women have raised their standards, right? Women have high standards in dating, guys. That's why men are single and that's why men are lonely, right? But the other idea is that she's trying to, you know, push, and I can hear it, right? Because she's not going to mention the fact that women have high standards, right? They have unrealistic standards about men, right? And they have this dream guys in their head that don't exist, you know, because they act like they're children, right? Anyway, let's keep it pushing.
Largely thought that this so-called epidemic isn't real.
The men in this country are chronically unfucked. They are medically without kisses. And it's terrifying, you know, because it's the first epidemic that spreads through no contact.
But I'm here to say that yes, I think that it is real. Young men today are lonelier than ever before. They report fewer close relationships, higher rates of depression, and a growing disconnection from community and intimacy and purpose. And according to recent data from Harvard Pew Research and the American Perspective Survey, the number of single single men in the US has more than doubled since 2005. In the UK, 1 in 5 men under 30 say they have no close friends. None. So yes, male loneliness is real and it does matter. But what's just as important and rarely discussed is how differently men and women experience loneliness. Because loneliness may not be gendered in cause, but it's absolutely gendered in expression. Loneliness is a crisis, but it's also a consequence. A consequence of socialization, a consequence of unaddressed emotional illiteracy, inherited systems that taught men to externalize pain and taught women to internalize it. We've all seen what happens when men lose access to intimacy. It's not just grief, it is rage.
Sexless young men, typically throughout history, throughout time, have been the group to worry about. So strongly associated with violence that we call it the young male syndrome in our field, that this has always been a huge problem. Now, throughout history, you had kind of cultural or social institutions to deal with your population of incels. The monastery would be one, for sure, give a high status position to kind of channel these extra guys into. You'd create Vikings out of them. The Vikings were likely incels. Portuguese explorers, there's strong evidence that they were incels, basically, sent on purpose missions to kind of basically get away from causing trouble for everyone else.
While many men spiral into anger, resentment, women facing similar disconnection are often doing something else entirely. They are turning inward. They're thriving. They're going to therapy.
Yo, this video is funny though. This video is funny. You know what's funny? They say women who are lonely, they're doing better than men. That's not true, guys. That's not true. Like, guys, let me tell you something, right? I'm single, right? I'm lonely, yes, but loneliness is not a problem for me. And I don't think it's a problem for most men. It's just that the media is making it seem like, you know, like we want the world to feel sorry for us. We don't. Men don't want people to feel sorry for them. Like we are lonely, guys. We play video games, right? Like we watch Netflix, right? We hook up with girls. That's what we do because we still like girls. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, let me speak for myself. I still like girls and, you know, I hook up with them. But anyway, guys, that's it for today. My name is RJ Godfella and this is the RJ Godfella Chats. Now, if you like this type of content, please, man, hit the subscribe button and hit the like button as well. Peace, I'm out.